Hi, I'm Rachel Anthony. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about 6 books that I use religiously when writing and editing my manuscript. The first book I use is called The Emotion Thesaurus. I use this book so much, especially while drafting. This book is so helpful because it gives you many different ways to express a different emotion. So for example, I'll just turn to any page right now. And this one is defensiveness. And it gives you a number of physical signals that a character is being defensive. And something like stepping back to increase the distance between oneself and the perceived danger, leaning away, licking one's lips, body shielding, like crossing their arms across their body. Just a ton of different ways that you can describe a character being defensive without saying they were defensive. It also gives like internal sensation. Dry mouth or an intense thirst, a body that feels hot. A mental response could be scrambling thoughts as one tries to diffuse the situation, anger, shock. Acute long-term responses for the emotion, signs that the emotion is being suppressed. It's a wealth of information to show and don't tell. This is, if you have a problem with that, this is your book. The next book that I use a lot while drafting is a book called Description. And this one is by Monica Wood. I didn't say who this one was by. This one, The Emotion Thesaurus, is by Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglist. And I'm sure I got all of these books that I'm going to talk about today off of Amazon. So description is really helpful. It really helped me out, especially when I was writing my debut novel, A Time for Us. A little background about me. I started my career in tech as a technical writer. And so that means that I was writing very standardized, dry, non-descriptive text for a living. And then when I tried to write a novel, the writing was very much the same. It was very dry, very one note. And one of my beta readers, I'm going to shout out Miss Julie Dyson here, she told me that I need to paint pictures with my words. The reader needs to see what you are writing. And that's when I got this book. And it helped tremendously. It gives you different ways to describe different things. Again, almost all of these books are going to talk about showing versus telling, descriptions to keep the pace of the book without slowing it down, engaging, sensory descriptions, things like that. This one was a lifesaver, especially for my debut novel. The next book is a recent purchase that I am finding indispensable in my writing right now. It's called The Best Punctuation Book, period. I see what they did there. This one is by June Casagrande. I think that is how she pronounces her name. And it's really just a book of how and when to use punctuation. My debut novel is littered, and I'm going to use that word because that's what it is. It is littered with ellipses, where some of those ellipses could have been commas, some of them could have been em dashes. And I purchased this book because, again, literature, English, that was not my strong suit in school. I am a science major. So I literally had to relearn how to do punctuation correctly. And this book is helping out tremendously. I am terrified to use em dashes because people are going to think my book is AI. But I'm going to power through. Come at me, bro. I am going to use M dashes because that is the correct punctuation for a lot of the things that I want to do. And I learned that from this book. It is so valuable. So again, the best punctuation book, period. Highly recommend this one. The next book that I will recommend is called Self-Editing for Fiction Writers. This one is by Rennie Brown and Dave King. I've had this one since my debut novel as well, when I was doing the editing for that book. It's, again, a lot about showing, don't tell, points of view, dialogue, so much good information. Paragraph structure, when to break up a paragraph, how to keep your book, your story flowing. It's such a valuable resource. Again, highly recommend. The next book I'm going to talk about is a new purchase for me. This one is called Master List for Writers. This book is a lot like the emotion thesaurus, where it gives you a lot of different ways to say a single thing. Like smiling is one of the things that most fiction writers say time and time again within their books, but you need to find different ways to say it. This is your book. But in addition to that, it gives you all kinds of information about how to define a character. When a character is feeling sad, what would they do to show that? Let's see. Plot points for wish fulfillment. Different occupations. So if you are writing like a billionaire romance, what kind of occupation would a billionaire have? Or what kind of occupation would someone struggling have? It gives everything from types of dialogue to names. So different names for people in different eras. Like if you want something from the Elizabethan era or something from the 1950s, names from different countries. It's very, very packed with good information. So this one is by Bryn Donovan. And again, highly recommend it. I'm using it a lot right now for my editing. And last but not least, another new find that I haven't used a lot yet, but as I am digging into my second draft of editing, I am leaning heavily into this one. It is called The Copywriter's Handbook. And this one is by Amy Einson. This one, a lot like the self-editing for fiction writers, it gives you tips on how to edit for, you know, points of view, things like that. But it also kind of gives you the punctuation points that the book of punctuation does, grammar principles, things like that. It is very textbook-like when it comes to the types of guidance that it gives you. But I think that as I'm going through my last edit of really going through and looking for those grammatical errors, looking for, you know, how, if I'm using a parentheses correctly. One of the things that gets me sometimes is a parentheses within the parentheses. As a science major, I know how to do it in math. For writing fiction, I want to make sure that I'm doing that correctly for my fiction writing. So yeah, again, haven't used this one a lot yet, but I get the feeling it's going to be used up very, very much so as I'm going through my last edit before I give it to beta readers. So these are 6 books that I will swear by, and I highly recommend anyone to get any of them. I would say if you have the editor's the copy editor's handbook, you may not need the best punctuation book, period, because a lot of what's covered in here I found is actually covered in here. So this book may, you know, replace this book. And if I, this one's going to be hard for me. These two books, the Emotion Thesaurus and the Master List for Writers, are very similar. I'm trying to think that if I had to advise you to use one, if you could only buy one, which one would it be? Oh, I would probably say the Master List for Writers, because it contains more than just, you know, the Emotion Thesaurus. It gives you different ways of writing different types of characters, as well as naming them, and it's just a lot of information in this book. So I love this book so much, so it breaks my heart a little bit to recommend this one over this one if you could only buy one, but I'm glad I have them both. So I hope that information was helpful for you, as I am in the trenches of editing right now. A lot of these books are getting used a lot. They are on my desk all the time, and some of the best money that I spent. So I hope that was helpful. If you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and come back, where I talk more about my writing journey and a little fitness every now and again. I've been lacking on my fitness side of the content because, quite frankly, writing has my priority right now. So I hope to see you back soon, and until then, take care. Bye.